think we're starting the meeting. I thought that's what we were trying not to do.
So if you come here and then right there, we're just going to move on down the line. Terry, stay static.
I thought you were giving me a hard time, but I'm on email.
I think it is a new chair.
Really? And did you
No, I adjust it down. You put this back. You could,
All right. Should it be Mr. Mayor? Nice tie. That's the one, you got all the money signs on. Huh?
Yeah, right. That's a good luck tie.
Yeah. So, anyway, Gina's here tonight. You know, she had called me.
Okay, that's our communication.
Yeah, and I told her, yeah, still come, and you know, after celebration. And,
Okay.
You know, Pamela. Yeah. Ray, this is Gina here. Yeah.
Hey, Jenny, nice to meet you. Congratulations tonight.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a little spiel to you real quick.
Okay.
And get out and then come visit you again. I'd love to talk to you about the MTC position.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, it's been 5 years now, I think, maybe. Maybe a little longer than that. Maybe it's been. Well, you know, Gina, I don't know now. Now you're making me think. How long has it been? Any show? Yeah, I know. Okay. Tony, you only come out on these special occasions, huh? Oh, you guys picked it. That was the chief row. Did you see the sign on there?
And this time it definitely is going to happen, so you don't have to run to daily sitting.
Who are you waiting for? The mayor.
Good evening. Could you please join us with the flag salute? Okay, thanks. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call, please.
Note for the record that all council members are present.
All right, do I have an adoption of tonight's agenda?
I'd like to close in memory of a few things here. One would be a Brisbane citizen we just recently lost last week, Tanya Williams, and she leaves her husband David and son Drake who was in the second grade, and Tanya was very active in Brisbane Elementary School, and she's going to be sorely missed. And so she passed away, I believe it was last Thursday night. And also memory of the school children and school employees of the massacre in Connecticut. And also, probably a lot of people don't know about it, but a place that's near and dear to my heart is the islands of Samoa. Had a cyclone hit, and the island was extremely devastated. They probably won't have electricity for a couple of weeks, and we actually lost a child family member in the flood.
Yeah, sorry.
It was swept away. So I'd like to close.
Yeah, well, you know, I think it would be fitting to just have a moment of silence and, you know, in honor of this, recognizing those people who lost their lives. All right. Thank you for that, Clark. Okay, so next on the agenda is we have the swearing-in ceremony. Yeah, this is you know, when you do the reorganization, it's a great time for renewal for every city, and yeah, we have some great people who will be taking the helm for our city. We have a new mayor and a new vice mayor, and so thank you. So this is the first time I've ever been the mayor and passing down the gavel to somebody else. So
It's difficult to do.
it is, yes. But yeah, no, I'm really excited about the direction that we're going. So do you want to minister the?
I have a, if you don't mind, I have asked my pastor, Steve Treganza, the pastor of Brisbane Community Church, to swear me in light of knowing that also the mass shooting in that area, it's been very, very challenging to all of us. I spend almost many hours at the school on Friday, and the trauma is everywhere. And so I'm delighted that my pastor is here, and he's the pastor of our city, Brisbane Community Church. So I'm going to ask him to swear me. Thank you.
All right.
So if you want to go ahead, sir, first.
Thank you. Here we go again.
My pleasure to do this again. Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Raymond Miller,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign
Against-
and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and the
California,
Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter. Thank you.
All right.
I would like to ask the public safety, the fire department gentlemen to come forward and stand with me, because we're going to be offering a prayer to the people who who have passed on. And I know you guys have done a tremendous job with 9/11 and the things, just to have as a support that I know the great job that you all do. Please come stand with me. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We are truly blessed to live in a country where the transfer of power is done both respectfully and peacefully. But before I conduct the oath of office for SEPI, I would like to pray for the families and the loved ones of Newtown, Connecticut, as well as our nation and the community right here in Brisbane. So if you'll please bow with me for a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we come to you this evening grieving for those that have lost so much. We ask that you would just comfort these families, these mothers and fathers and grandparents, relatives, friends, that you would comfort them as only you can, Father. We ask for the protection of the children there, as well as across the United States. We ask that you would just have control over this, Father, this great nation. Right here in Brisbane, we pray for our schools, our children, that you would protect them. And Father, give us wisdom too. Help us to behave in a way that just brings honor and glory to you. And we ask these things in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Seppi, if you'll please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Seppi,
I, Seppi,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the United States, State of California,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the United State of California,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter. Again, Seppi Richardson, I solemnly swear, because I just said Seppi. Thank you,
Listen,
Pastor.
we-
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you very much.
Cliff, can you lean back? No.
So, thank everybody for being here. And as you see on the agenda, the first and next item that I have the pleasure to manage is the honoring of the outgoing mayor, Cliff Lentz. And we have a series of traditions about which I am to implement, one of which is a proclamation and another of which is a standard but precious gavel. And so the first thing I would like to do is to give some sense of what we say in the proclamation about Cliff, and then make some personal remarks, and then ask others if they wish to add to what has already been said. So the proclamation is very formal naturally, has a lot of whereases, and so I will only read a couple of those and then summarize some others and bring some things up, some of which Cliff will remember very vividly. So the first whereas I'd like to bring to attention regarding Cliff, it says that whereas Cliff Lentz has a dedication and passion for the city and community of Brisbane, and it's evident in everything that he has done. Of special interest to Cliff was the long-term fiscal health of the city, the development of an economic development action plan, the improvement of public space and recreational value at Sierra Point through the update of the Sierra Point design guidelines, and the formulation of sustainability goals for the Baylands. Cliff was also very committed to many volunteer projects, but the one we want to particularly mention was the one he coordinated with Rebuilding Together, namely the refurbishment of the Brisbane Community Center, and underway is the redesign and landscaping of the park behind the community center and the library. Cliff has also represented us in many regional bodies. I want to mention a couple. The one is the San Mateo County Policy Advisory Committee for the Regional Housing Numbers Allocation. That might not seem very important, but what Cliff was able to do on that committee was to reduce our allocation significantly so that it was within a realistic realm. And we all appreciated that. He's also been, of course, going to the San Mateo Council of Cities, representing us as mayor. And he serves on the board of HART, or the Housing Endowment and Regional Trust, which we will hear more about later in the meeting. Now, I wanted to add a couple of additional things from my personal experience. You'll find all the things I just mentioned in the proclamation. But I want to mention 4 things from my own experience that really indicate the kind of excellent mayor that Cliff has been. I have 4 things I wanted to mention. One is that Cliff has been really good at running open meetings, letting people have their say, and people have felt comfortable coming to the council and expressing their views and knowing that they would be heard and they wouldn't be cut off. And I think he's done a really good job of building that relationship with the community. So I hope I continue to do the same. The second thing, of course, is that Cliff not only has all kinds of concerns on the council, which we've elucidated in the proclamation, but he also is all over the community, doing a lot of things for which he's tried to help, and one of which, of course, is dealing with the fiscal problems of the schools that Cliff has been very active in. He's also active in many organizations. I know that with his wife, he's very active in the Brisbane Dance Workshop, even to the point I remember of his being in a performance. He was wearing some kind of Roman outfit, as I recall.
Tutu.
Do you remember that? I'm sure he does.
Do it for the kids.
He's also a terrific family member. He does a lot of chauffeuring around because, as you know, one of his daughters is a gymnastics champion, and in order to get her from one place to another, there's a lot of driving, a lot of commitment. And anyone who knows anything about gymnastics knows the amount of discipline involved. And that obviously is a family value that comes from Cliff and Karen. And then fourth, his public presentations that I've had the pleasure attending and appreciating. The most recent was the opening of the playground on the community park just last Saturday, in which he did his usual good job, and he worked together with the newly designated Volunteer of the Year, Jessica Aloft, and they cut the ribbon for the playground. Most appropriate because of the incredible involvement of the Mothers of Brisbane in that project. Another presentation that I remember, which was extremely moving for me, was the presentation of the Artist of the Year for Maura Lucas, in which Cliff did a marvelous job, and as most of you know, she passed away just a few months later. So it was really quite an event, which I'll never forget. And then I want to talk about the state of the city. Cliff, and along with the city manager, gave State of the City presentation at the Chamber of Commerce. It was filled with all sorts of electronic video and really covered the projects that have been going on in Cliff's mind and in the community over the year. And there were a lot of people came up to me afterwards and said that was the best State of the City presentation that they had ever heard. So you can be proud about that too. Which leads me, therefore, to the therefore. Because at the bottom of the proclamation it says, "Now therefore be it resolved," signed by all your colleagues here, "that after a year of dedicated service of Mayor of the City of Brisbane, and after giving so generously of his time to represent the city in so many ways, we thank him for his dedication in making the City of Brisbane a better place to live."
Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thanks.
You want to say anything before we give him a chance to respond?
No.
Okay.
Let him, let him,
Let him respond.
Yes.
Okay.
I do want to say something.
Oh, okay.
Before he gets his
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
You really believe all that stuff too, right? No, Cliff, we've been working together for 3 years, and just want to let you know, I mean, of course you know this, that I've really enjoyed working with you, and especially, you know, on a subcommittee level, and we have a lot of fun too. You know, so we kind of try to make things light, and want to let you know I appreciate you and appreciate working with you, so thank you.
Thank you, Clark, for that. Thank you for being here and you know, and just all the support that you've given me during this past year. You know, when I became the mayor, there was a member of the community. She came up to me and she said, "Make sure you don't have a big head, because when you become the mayor, you're just you know, you're a regular council person. Maybe, you know, you help set the agenda, you chair the meetings, but you know, you're just a regular council person." And she would keep reminding me throughout the year, and you know, to a certain extent, yes, that is true. Your vote's the same as all the other council members, but I tell you, the position of mayor is definitely a wonderful experience to be a part of, because you're the face of the community. You're the person that people come to when they have a problem, or you're the person that gets to, you know, to recognize someone who's done something really well in town. And you know, I'll never forget that. You know, when you first get on the council, you're learning. You're trying to, you know, to absorb all this stuff that's being thrown at you. And then when you become the mayor, it's it just accelerates, and you have to, you got to be on your game every single day, and you got to be on when you're doing these meetings, because people expect you to maybe not know all the answers, but at least be able to have a handle on the subject matter. It's nice hearing all the things that I've been involved in, and I'll still keep being active. When you listen to those things, you think, oh, maybe it's your retirement, meeting, and you're going to be walking away, but I still have another year, and I really enjoy being on the council. I really enjoy serving, and so I'm looking forward to working with the Mayor Pro Tem. We co-chair the Finance and Budget Committee together, and I'm looking forward to trying to help put together a more accountable and user-friendly budget, so that the public can understand it, and I'm really looking forward to working with my colleague over there on the other side, Terry. We co-chair the Sierra Point Guideline Subcommittee, and I'm just really excited about that opportunity to work with you, Terry. And we have this task of how do you take a underutilized office park and turn it into a great destination for all of our citizens and the people that work out there, and who knows, maybe even others from outside the area would love to come to Brisbane and enjoy Sierra Point and hopefully spend money in our town. I'm looking forward to working with my buddy and my mentor, Clark. We co-chair the Economic Development Subcommittee, but we also work together on the school 2x2, and there's a lot of talk in town about the issues facing the schools, and even though as council members that isn't our role to make the school decisions, we do live in a small community, and the citizens do ask us about our opinion, and so it is important for Clark and I to hopefully know the details so we can share that with our citizens. And then, working together on economic development, we have had a lot of fun. There's, the subcommittee was formed because of the economic crisis. And sometimes a crisis happens and that motivates you to do things. And so, but as we were thinking of ways to bring economic development to the city, we never lost sight of what makes our town great. And so, and we know that in order to bring economic prosperity to the town, it has to, the feedback has to come from the community. And we just had this great meeting last week with the Urban Land Institute, and I think that could be a great opportunity perhaps to engage not only our citizens but the business community and see how we want to shape our future moving forward. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to working with the Mayor Miller, Ray and I. We work on this committee. It's the Sustainability Committee for the Baylands, and things that we have put together in this plan that we're crafting is, I think, has the potential to be a really amazing thing, not only for our city, but for future development all across the country. We're exploring ideas about zero waste and zero carbon and creating more energy than what's needed for the development, world-class transportation system, having open space accessible to, from every building, and just a very rich and engaging development that incorporates the arts and recreation and entertainment. So, really looking forward to finalizing that and getting it out there as we move forward with the EIR process. So, one thing I want to close with is a couple of meetings ago, when we were deciding who was going to be the mayor and the mayor pro tem, we decided that everyone who's on the council should have an opportunity to be the mayor during their first term. And that is something that I very strongly support. I'm only in my third year being on the council, and here I had this great opportunity. And so I hope that that eventually we commit to it and we put it in writing, and so that it's how we conduct business, because I think we have some great people on this council, and the opportunities that were given to me, I would love to share it with all of you. So thank you for all your support. Of course, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without my family behind me, my wife Karen and my daughters Caitlin and Claire, who allow me to put in those extra hours away from them to be with all of you. And I really have learned a lot from all of you guys working on the council, and then also the staff too. So thank you, and I look forward to the upcoming year with our new mayor pro tem and our new mayor. And I guess we're ready for refreshments.
No.
Okay.
According to the agenda. So thanks, Cliff. Before we get to enjoy our refreshments, I have a couple of remarks to make, and then after that we can celebrate together, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. So, remarks as follows. I am honored to have the opportunity to again serve the citizens of Brisbane as mayor. This is my fourth time. My last mayoral term was in 1994-95. As the History Subcommittee, Clark Conway and I have been reliving those years as we read the drafts of the history of the second 25 years of Brisbane, 1986 to 2011. The publication of the history book is planned for this spring, so that you all will be able to experience our rather lively recent history. During that period, the litigation over the Northeast Ridge development was resolved, and the last recall election was held. Many people who attended the glorious opening of our new playground in the community park last Saturday were not aware that the 1989 recall election paved the way for the community park. The park property was acquired by the city through the redevelopment agency. It was occupied by the infamous Cozy Cove Motel and Trailer Park. The majority of the council wanted to build a civic center there that was designed by the postmodernist architect Michael Graves. A committee headed by former Mayor Ed Swendelov objected to the plan and believed that the only way to stop it was a recall. What followed was a very divisive campaign that ended up being successful by only a few votes. Out of that tumultuous negative experience came two positive results. One was the community park itself, a truly remarkable community asset. And two, the realization that any effort by the council to move ahead without the full, verifiable support of the community was a disastrous mistake. The current council remembers that lesson, and that is why it will use all feasible means to get full community input before moving ahead on the development plans for the Baylands. On the agenda later this evening, we will be talking about the process of getting as many people as possible involved in the reading and commenting on the draft environmental impact report, the DEIR. In addition, before the council starts working on an actual plan for the Baylands, the council will conduct a community-wide survey. Furthermore, no plans will be approved by the council until it goes before the voters of Brisbane. The formulation of the Brisbane plan for the Baylands will not start until the final environmental impact report is certified. The final impact report includes the original draft, comments, and responses to the comments. This process could probably take all of 2013. One of the components that I personally would like to see in the Baylands plan is a strong commitment to sustainability. That will not be easily realized as conventional economics does not incorporate long-term environmental values. However, over the last few decades, an extensive professional field of sustainability economics and metrics has been developed. Many projects have already incorporated them so that we do not have to invent a new science. My final comment on the Baylands is to remind everyone that developments of this magnitude take a long time to unfold. The development on Sierra Point was approved by the city in the late 1970s, but it is only about 50% built out. Naturally, the council will be addressing many other issues in the upcoming year. I hope we will make some progress on the street safety issues. I am personally pleased that we are on the path of a capital maintenance program, a realistic one. We need to take care of the investments that we already have. That would include the pool, the marina, the fire station, right? The water and sewer system, the parks, and our open space on San Bruno Mountain. I look forward to working with the community on the council on the above issues, as well as others that come our way. Thank you very much. And now I believe it's appropriate that we have the refreshment break. All right. Where? Okay.
All right, we're having refreshments